Hey, what's happening, family? It's your man, Mark Black. Welcome. Welcome to your Sucker-Free Saturday. You know how we do. Before we get started, a little bit of house cleaning. First of all, I want to apologize for not having uploaded a Wednesday video this week. Unfortunately, family, I was just not feeling myself. But today I feel pretty goddamn good. Jones in the house. Let me shout everybody out. Shout out to CRU. Shout out to Made and Dade. Shout out to Code Ref, to LaShawn. Darker Visions. Miss Denny is definitely up in this piece. Shout out to Joan. And anyone else who is here watching live right now, make sure you pop in the chat and let us know you here so we can shout you out. Before we get started, though, just a couple of quick things. First of all, make sure to hit the hater button, the like button, whichever one you want to do, right? Let YouTube know this is content you want to see, all right? And also, too, make sure that you check out the links in the description. There's a new item there in the description field. It's a survey. that tells me what type of content or what type of topics that you want me to address. Another thing I wanted to make sure to do today was again to give a extra special shout out to the newest member of Black Outcast Media Broadcasting, Miss Denny, aka the Black Honey Badger. As you know, she uploaded her first couple of uploads this week. She's got more content coming. Since I put her on blast, she definitely got to get the work in, right? So be on the lookout for that because I know that she's gotten a great response from many of you. I appreciate your love, your support for her. Keep it up because she's another, YouTube media personality on the rise. Shalom, Paul. Welcome to the broadcast. Glad to have you. All right, family. So, today's broadcast is going to be talking about real ADOS stories, real ADOS life, right? One of the things that I consistently tell us to do in order for us to progress our justice claim is that we have to start being more honest with each other. Now, we not only have to start being more honest with each other, but we have to start being more honest with ourselves and with the rest of America, right? Yes, right, Code. You know how she be doing. Key. Miss Denny be getting it in, right? Family, the only way that this transformational moment can truly grab the people is if it's authentic, right? If it's clear, unapologetic, and real. One of the things that our detractors have feared, family, is the fact that this thing has came from the grassroots, right? As you all know, very many of us are not a member of any of these legacy organizations like the Urban League, NAACP, NCOBRA, and so on and so forth. Matter of fact, I would argue that many of us had never even heard of these organizations until we brought this ADOS hashtag on the map, right? Until we started announcing our presence, not just on social media, but everywhere. Many of us have never really had any real engagement with these organizations. We've heard about them, right? We've heard that they've done things, but we've never seen any of the work that they actually have done, right? And so, Ms. Denny, how are you in my damn shot? Really?
I'm giving you the fan. Is it not hot in here to you?
No, but thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, she is stylish. I'm telling you, fam, right now, she's got her training wheels on. But as she gets more comfortable behind this camera and on this mic with the technology, don't be surprised when you see her live and get an opportunity to engage with her, as best we can IRL. I'm lucky to have the inestimable Miss Denny here with me, but I'm ready to share her with the rest of the world because it's her turn. And I'm excited as all get out. But I digress. Family, in all honesty, right, it is clear when you look at the data, when you look at the information, that ADOS people are not living the life that we portray. We're not living the life that America tries to portray that we're living. When you see shows like The Cosby Show, for example, right? Tone and Yvette has talked about The Cosby Show many times. And they've talked about how everything about that show was false, right? From the location where they lived in the home they owned to the incomes that they would have been making at the time and the whole 9 yards. But we've forgiven shows like The Cosby Show and other entertainment media because of our aspirational goals, our desire to have the life portrayed in those shows. There's a saying that I've heard once said about Americans. And since ADOS folk are the most American of Americans, I think this saying applies to us more than anybody else. This saying goes like this: there are no poor people in America, only temporarily dispossessed millionaires. What this means is, family, is that because we have a propensity as ADOS people to believe that the days of the tide being turned against us, the days of people forcing us to the bottom, right? Forcing us to eat the failure are gone. We have a psychological and emotional incentive. By the way, shout out to my brother Double C. Welcome to the broadcast. Glad to have you. We have an emotional and psychological incentive to embrace this aspirational idea that if we only put our nose to the grindstone, if we follow the rules, if we do what we're told, if we get a good education, if we pull our pants up, if we speak with diction and proper enunciation, if we use proper English, if we dress well, that we too can have a shot at the America we see everyone else have. So when you start to tell the truth about ADOS existence to other ADOS people, you run into a roadblock, right? You run up against a barrier that you cannot break. Because, family, our people, it would hurt to a certain extent, many of us, to accept the reality of our circumstances as ADOS people within the confines of the United States of America. Let's just keep it all the way funky. If we truly understood, based off of the data, off of the reality of our existence, not our aspirations, not our hopes, not our wishes, not our goals, not our dreams, but the reality of where we actually are, it would require action at the hands of ADOS folk. It would require a sea change in how we do everything, how we do politics, how we do economics, how we do families, how we deal with the law, how we deal with religion, how we deal with sex, with everything. Family, I want to share with you a truth before I go forward. By the way, shout out to my dear esteemed brother Show Nuff. What up? Glad to have you. Welcome to your Sucka-Free Saturday. Family, we have as ADOS people something available to us, an opportunity available to us. Shout out to the cool man. Welcome to your Sucka-Free Saturday. DC's in the house. We have an opportunity available to us that no other people on the planet Earth have available to them. And I'm going to share it with you today. We actually, due to the circumstances of our arrival here on these shores, the stripping away of our former affiliations, our former cultures, our former languages, and so on and so forth, we actually have the capability to build a culture that works. We can take the best from every culture on the planet Earth and we can make it uniquely our own. No one else can do that. because culture is the thing that tells you what to do when there's no one there to tell you what to do. And everyone in this country, other than ADOS people, have cultures that harken back. But what we have is what we've been able to put together to survive the plantation, to survive debt peonage, to survive sharecropping, to survive Jim Crow, to survive the crack epidemic, to survive mass incarceration, to survive eating the failure. And it has served us in good stead. We are still here, us, the children of the impossible. Each and every last ADOS face out there is a child of the impossible. You were supposed to be dead before you ever came out of your mother's womb. And yet you made it. And you not only made it, but you have found a way, in spite of the odds, in spite of every hand set against you, to thrive. But what ADOS is telling us is that it is now time to step our game up. No longer do we get to hide behind dreams, goals, aspirations. We have to face the data head on. We have to address the facts as they are. And we need to ask one simple question. Is what we're doing working for us? Because if it is working for us, fan-freaking-tastic. But whatever does not work for us needs to be thrown on the trash heap of history. Honor our ancestry and our lineage and our heritage. Take what works and move forward with an eye toward the truth, toward the reality of what it means to be an ADOS male or female, man or woman or child in America. And that will give us the capability to do the work that needs to be done. It is simple as that. But in order to know the truth, we have to tell the truth, right? We have to tell the truth about our actual lives. So many of us spend day after day after day trying to create, build, if you will, a complete facade. If you were to ask many of us, hey, brother, how you doing? Sister, what it do? What's our automatic response as ADOS folk? Shh, nigga, I'm living the dream. You know me. I'm good. Psh, man, I'm killing the game right now. Yeah, man, I got a new album about to drop next week. I've been spending all my time in the studio. Ah, shit, I'm doing real well, man. You know, I picked up about 3 Bitcoins last week. You know, that shit's been climbing. It's up to 7,000 now. Woo! You know me, I'm doing all right, sister. I'm about to graduate from college next week with my BA. We never, ever, ever, ever tell the truth. Shout out to my man Black Dollars. By the way, if y'all not subscribed to that brother, click his link in the chat right now and go to subscribe to him. That brother be putting out some powerful content. August Dreams, beloved, welcome to your Sucka-Free Saturday. That's right, black man, I'm good. That's our automatic response. Thank you, Code Rep. If I had $5 for each time I heard from somebody, I am blessed and highly favored, we would not be having this conversation over YouTube. We'd be on my private island somewhere, face to face, talking about this shit. But family, regardless of what you, regardless of our paradoxical ebullience, right? In the words of Dr. Leslie Branch, regardless of our paradoxical ebullience. Let me define that for you. Paradoxical, Ms. Denny, starting off the train. I appreciate it, sister. Thank you for the love and support as always. Dr. Branch described our situation as ADOS people with the term that she called paradoxical ebullience. Now, what is ebullience? Right? Let's look it up, family. I'll do that for you right now. I'll even read it directly live in living color from Webster's. And I'll spell it for you too. It's ebullience. Ebullience. Oh, I'm sorry, it's EBU. All right. Ebullience, the quality of lively and enthusiastic expression of thoughts and feelings. Essentially, ebullience is being hype, being enthusiastic, right? Ebullience is that dude that you see that's like, hell yeah, man, I'm killing the game. You know how I be. Now, paradoxical. What does paradoxical mean? Let's look it up. Paradoxical. Paradoxical, of course, is an adjective related to the word paradox. A paradox is defined as a statement that is seemingly contradictory or opposed to common sense and yet is perhaps true, or a tenet contrary to received opinion. A paradox is something that seems to be contradictory, yet can still be true. Our ebullience is contradictory to our circumstances, yet it is what we see. Am I talking black to y'all today? Am I making any sense? This hype man mentality that we have as ADOS folk is paradoxical. It is contradictory to the data. And yet it's true. We express this ebullience with no evidence whatsoever to support our enthusiasm, to support this being hype people. Because of this paradoxical ebullience, because of this facade that we create for each other to try and hide the reality of each of our circumstances, what you end up with is a bunch of people that are running around like the proverbial chicken, thinking they're batting 1,000 when all of us are really the chicken in the pot. When you look at ADOS life in its totality, in its reality, you and I have nothing to be enthusiastically ebullient about. When you look at the amount of debt many of us ADOS households carry, those of us who actually come from intact households, when you look at the rates of broken homes, when you look at the rate of poverty, when you look at the rate of crime and criminal activity, which is driven by economics, not we're inherently criminals, right? Family, when you look at the reality of the situation, you and I have nothing to fucking be enthusiastic about. Even the ones who are doing the best among us is carrying debt loads that are simply unsustainable. We are living in fantasies. You get to drive a motherfucking, Chrysler 300, the poor man's Bentley, and you make a decent salary at your nonprofit job. So you think you're doing all right, but you ain't. You got a $600 a month car note because even though your credit is just as good as anybody else's, you still end up as an ADOS person paying higher interest rates. If you own a home, or I should say, if you're in the process of owning a home, you're paying a higher rate for your mortgage than everybody else around you. And God forbid you should actually be a person that cares about the black community, cares about the ADOS community, and you decide to live within the ADOS community. The property value of any property you buy is automatically diminished as ADOS becomes a contagion for the growth of wealth. Let's not even talk about the fact that if you are educated, you have had to spend an untold amount of money to finance your education, because you and I don't come from a background where we can depend on family members to help us carry the load to pay for higher education. Thus, after we've exhausted Pell Grants and whatever scholarships we were able to get by keeping our nose to the grindstone, we got to start stacking up on them Stafford loans. We got to start stacking up on those direct loans. So some of you are graduating with BAs, BSs, and you already $40,000, $50,000 in the hole. Meanwhile, your pale skinned counterpart, your white college compatriot, had family to support him or her, giving them in vivo transfers, life transfers of wealth while they living, so they were able to pay for school. Plus, most of the time they have these legacy programs at most universities and shit, where if your family went there, you get kind of just a free in. You don't even have to do shit. You remember the so-called college cheating scandal? And I told y'all that nothing was going to happen to them women, to Felicity Huffman and all the rest of them. What not right? Them bitches ain't going to jail. But they sure did lock up that sister who transferred her kid to a school district in another area to try to get her kid a better education. Locked her ass up for what? They gave her 12 years for that? That hard ADOS reality, that hard truth that none of us want to fucking talk about. All of us want to be and live American lives. But we don't want to tell ourselves the truth about how it is that we do not. We keep trying to create a facade. We keep trying to put forward a public face that tells America, that tells our people, and tells ourselves that we are doing better than what we actually are. So in the spirit of honesty and truth, let it start with me. I've shared a lot of my life story, but I'm going to give y'all a synopsis of the 46 years of your man Mark Black. My ADOS reality. It's all good, CRU. I understand, brother. I'm just glad that you support. Thank you. I was born and raised in KC Mo. Shout out to KC. I grew up in a housing project. My mother was very poor. My grandmother kicked her out of the house when she had me at 18. Took me from my mother actually for about 18 months of my life. So about the first 18 months of my life, I wasn't even with my mother. My father, from all accounts, was a good man, but he could not be with my mother for whatever reason. So they never was together, except when they made me. My mother then had two other children, my baby brother, may he rest, and my baby sister. All of us by different dads. No shade against my mama, just facts. We was all had different daddies. But you know, ADOS families, we don't do that half brother, half sister shit. Y'all live in the same household, y'all eat from the same plate, y'all sleep in the same bed under the same sheets and breathe the same air, y'all family. It's just the way it is. I ain't never thought of them as half nothing. If anything, I thought of them as half of myself. When my brother killed himself, it was like losing a part of my life, but I'll get to that. I was a very studious child, loved to learn. I still love to learn, family. By the way, pay attention to the chat, because y'all are telling truth in the chat right now. I used to, when I was a boy, walk 2, 3, 4, 5 miles one way at 5, 6, 7 years old during the summer to go to the motherfucking library. Two reasons. One, because that's where all the books was. See, we didn't have internet when I was a kid. Feel me? What? No jump on Google shit, right? We barely had computers. I remember when I first fucked with a computer, it was an Apple IIe. I was excited to the motherfucker. I was like, this is the craziest shit I ever seen. And yes, I did find Carmen Sandiego and I made it across the Oregon Trail. Fuck what you heard. The second reason was because the library, because white folks went there, had AC. So in the summertime, if you was smart, in KC, it get hotter than a motherfucker. You go someplace where there's AC. We live in the ghetto. Unless you got one of those motherfucking AC units that sit in your window, you wasn't having no air to keep you cool. My mother had a big ass metal fan that she kept in the window all year round. Little interesting tidbit, just a little bit of trivia about your man. To this day, I cannot sleep without a fan. And yes, black man, I still know how to find books based off of the Dewey Decimal System. Another thing these younglings don't know nothing about. Our Star Wars said, my ox always died of dysentery. I've had oxen drown in the rivers during the crosses because, I was too cheap to pay a motherfucker to ferry me across. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to save my bread. So I try to take my oxen across the river. They get drowned like a motherfucker. I used to hate Oregon Trail. But I love that game, though. I hated it, but I loved it. But family, I spent a lot of time in the library. Very studious young man. Right? I remember at 5 years old, I wrote a report for my mother on nuclear energy. When I was a kid, I wanted to grow up to be an astronaut. I even had it all planned out, right? I was going to graduate from high school. I was going to try to go to the Air Force Academy and graduate the Air Force Academy and become a pilot, a fighter pilot. Well, actually, I didn't want to be a fighter pilot. There was only one plane I wanted to fly. That was the SR-71 Blackbird, a reconnaissance plane. Beautiful motherfucking plane. And then after being a pilot in the Air Force for a number of years, I was then going to apply to NASA. as a pilot of the space shuttle. Your man Mark Black wanted to go in space. I guess even at that young age, I realized that ADOS life on this planet is a bitch. I wanted to get off this little blue dust ball. But at any rate, many of you know that my household was dysfunctional as a motherfucker. My mother chose a very abusive man and my stepfather, my baby sister's father. And he used to beat me and my brother, he used to torture us. He used to beat my mother. He broke my mother's nose once. Yeah, fucked her up. I still can see it as if it happened today. So we had physical and emotional abuse in my household. But yet and still, I was an A student. My stepfather gave me weed at 7 years old. That's right. I was 7, my brother was 5. Rolled us up blunts. This was before blunts was even a thing. I can still remember it. He said to me, I know you little niggas gonna smoke weed. And I want you to know what this shit about so nobody give you no bad shit. And he made us smoke a whole motherfucking blunt each to the head. So yeah, I've had my issues with drug use. I attempted suicide quite a few times as a child. I ain't proud of it, but it's the ADOS truth. For those of us who are still out there saying to people that black people don't hang theyself, the hell they don't. The first time I tried to kill myself, I tried to hang myself. You know, sometimes, family, the truth is more painful than we would like to face. We be seeing these hangings of black men, black boys all over the country. And our first thing is to call it a lynching. Them white folks got them. Do you know how many of your young brothers and young men are walking around right now wishing they was dead? You feel me? You know, that hard ass ADOS truth don't nobody want to fucking talk about. And it cuts across social economic strata. You got black boys that live around white boys that want to kill themselves right now, that live in good neighborhoods, that speak really good English, little nerdy black boys who every day wish they were dead. And when they finally decide to make that happen, they will use the rope, they will use the gun, they will use pills, they will use whatever the fuck they can get their hands on. I hear you, black men. Tell the truth, family, and shame the goddamn devil. Life for a lot of us, regardless of our social economic strata, was painful as a motherfucker when we was kids. On one hand, we had our folks telling us what they thought the truth was. They were telling us, family, that you go to school, you get an education, you work hard, and you can have what the white folks have. Tell me I'm fucking lying if you are Xer on down. If you a generation Y or a millennial, your grandparents were saying that same shit to you. Well, guess what? Your Xer forebears was getting it before you was. But then when we went to school and we saw the principal whipping our ass, because when I went to school, they had corporal punishment in school. So I'm getting whippings once a week just cuz. And I was in gifted and talented classes, right? I was in a program for smart kids and was still being treated like I was a fucking problem child. So I'm getting my ass kicked at school and I'm getting my ass kicked and tortured and beaten and shit at home. And yet I still smile, brothers and sisters, until I couldn't no more. When I was 7 years old, my mother wanted me to learn how to play the piano because she thought it would give me culture. And I agreed, right? You're talking about a kid that used to read Shakespeare plays in motherfucking kindergarten. So yeah, I was all about being cultured, speaking proper English, learning proper diction and enunciation. I love to read. I love to study. So when she signed me up for the piano with the piano player at our church, I didn't think nothing of it. I was happy until this motherfucker started molesting me. Shout out to Tasha. Welcome to your Sucka-Free Saturday, where we keeping it real today. That's right. My piano teacher, who I trusted, who I respected, who was a member of the church, molested my ass over a year and a half. But as bad as that was for me, it wasn't quite as bad as it was for my brother and my sister. My brother was raped at 4 years old by my stepfather's fucking brother. And my sister was raped by my mother's brother. He fucked her up so bad, my sister still can't have children today. You know, that hard ass ADOS existence, that truth we don't never fucking talk about. The sexual abuse, the physical abuse, the goddamn emotional abuse of our children. We the only motherfucking people in this country to act like doing for our children is a privilege to them and not our responsibility. So between the physical torture and abuse, the emotional abuse of seeing my mother beaten, downtrodden, fucked over, lied to, abused by the man who's supposed to be the one to care for us all. My little sister got shot by my brother. He was 8 and she was 5. Found one of my stepfather's guns, was playing with it, shot her. Come to find out years later, because they made a difference between how they treated my sister and my brother and I, that my brother actually wanted to kill my little sister. He didn't quite understand everything that came with pulling the trigger, but he was 8 years old when he first pulled the trigger on somebody, and it was my own sister, his own flesh and blood. So he was subsequently locked up, where he was abused, beaten, sexually assaulted until 18 years old. So we didn't really have my little brother around during the rest of the time I was growing up. My mother finally moved us out of the projects because the crack epidemic hit, and the projects that used to be safe for kids to play out in the street 2, 3 in the morning during the summer became a fucking war zone. Dudes that I was growing up with who at their worst would throw them hands on you, bully you a little bit, scrap you, was starting to murder motherfuckers. And I didn't want no parts of that. Because remember, I was intelligent. I was a smart kid. I was a nerd. The only thing I ever thought about killing was orcs and Dungeons and Dragons. My teenage years came on me. First time I tried to kill myself was with a rope. The second time I tried to kill myself was an overdose. The third time was with a gun. The rope broke. I don't know what happened with the pills I took, but I didn't feel a damn thing. And I had multiple misfires from an automatic pistol that I put in my mouth. I figured after that, I guess I must have been meant. I must have been meant to stay. Bruh, I'm good, black man. And I'm not saying that to slough off what I'm telling you. This is my life. But I've gone through a lot of motherfucking therapy and mental health care to be able to get to this point where I could tell you these things openly. So yeah, bro, I appreciate your concern, but no, trust me, I have no problem with leaning on professional assistance for mental health. I've had to, otherwise I'd be dead. My teenage years, believe it or not, sucked worse than my childhood. I mean, as bad as my childhood was, and I just described to y'all some of the shit that my childhood was like. It's funny, I still remember my childhood with fondness. Because my teenage years was brutal. Absolutely fucking brutal. Family, I don't know how many of you can imagine, but put yourself, if you will, in the shoes of a fat ass, nerdy, geeky ass black man or young black man stuck in the middle of the motherfucking hood. And you tell me what you think my life was like as a teenager. I was getting punched in the face before I could even walk into the school building. By the way, up until the 7th grade, I'm still maintaining straight motherfucking A's. Molestation, physical torture, beatings, brutality surrounding me on a constant basis, attempted suicides, mental fuckery, sexual confusion due to the fact that I was molested by a man, and all that other shit. On top of being bullied, on top of it all, and I'm still maintaining a 4.0 plus grade point average. Don't tell me what ADOS children aren't fucking capable of. I was living through hell, but when I went to school, hell disappeared. There was only the knowledge that I could control. Shout out to you, Kevin. Welcome to your Sucka-Free Saturday. I could control what I learned, what books I read. I tried to hang out with different folk who were like me, who were nerdy, who were geeky. And I was lucky to make some decent friends, so I wasn't the only one getting his ass kicked all the time. But finally, I had enough of school. I struggled a bit with math, which you definitely need if you're going to study science and physics and all the shit I wanted to study in order to be an astronaut. But because I was this really super intelligent kid, nobody ever asked me if I needed help with anything. They just assumed I knew what the fuck I was doing. So I stopped going to school. I just started skipping a lot. A lot. I skipped so much my freshman year of high school that, you know how in the yearbook they have like, the all the different, like the most beautiful or the best dancer and all that. They had this dude that skipped school. They had this dude that skipped school like 3 weeks. I skipped 68 days out of a 75-day semester. I went to class and my teacher didn't even know I was a student in her class. That's how much school I skipped. And I finally dropped out. Went and got my GED. Went to Job Corps. Because again, I didn't want to be in the hood. I didn't want to be a part of that shit. But ended up going through some gang shit in Job Corps. And ultimately, I became a gang member myself. And I'm going to tell you the straight up truth, family. I didn't become a gang member because I was a pussy or a bitch. I became a gang member because I was mad. If you only have the choice of being the predator or the prey, I was not going to be the motherfucking prey no more. I decided that if people were trying to hurt me, and wanted to take what little I got and wanted to bop me, that I was gonna bop they motherfucking ass before they got me. I became a gangster not because I'm weak. I became a gangster because I got tired. I joined the Bloods and I gang bang. I walked the streets hard, and I mean hard. I figured that it was too many cats out there that knew me back in the days when I was nerdy and geeky, who thought they could just run one over on me. So when I saw them fools, I hit they asses hard. I remember beating people up right on their mama's front porch. I pistol whipped the dude right in front of his grandmother. But I was also that cat that would help the old ladies carry their groceries home from the store. I wasn't a bad seed. I didn't want to hurt nobody. I just didn't want to keep being hurt. How many of you brothers out there that used to be on that gang shit was in the same boat as me, who just got tired of being the thing chased by all the sharks? So you decided that you wanted to become a motherfucking shark yourself. That you wanted to deliver, that's right, black man, that you wanted to deliver a little payback. When I joined the army, because again, even though I'm a gang banging, hardcore, street stomping, set tripping ass nigga, I don't want to be that. I still want to aim in some way toward the goal that I had when I was a child. So I figured I'd join the army and become a wobbly, right? A warrant officer, flying helicopters and shit. And then maybe I could parlay that into learning how to fly planes and shit and still find some way into NASA. I hadn't given up on my goals, but I knew I had a harder road to hoe at that point. So I joined the army. Fam, the army has just as many gangsters in it as the streets do. That's no bullshit. That's no bullshit. Yeah, I know, black man, payback. I wanted payback. I gangbang. I wasn't putting that on you. At any rate, met my kid's mom up here in the great Pacific Northwest. I didn't know she was going to be my kid's mama, but that's how it worked out. Had my daughter at 21 years old. My daughter changed my life, fam. A lot of us need to give more credit to our children than we do. Because our children have saved a lot of us from an early grave. That's real talk. When I had a daughter, man, I let that damn gangbanging shit go. I kept having visions of my daughter coming and viewing my body in a casket. And she would be only like 1, 2 years old. My daughter made me peace out. So my 20s, I'm going to give you the TLDR version of my 20s. Imagine, if you will, not knowing where your next meal coming from, working shit ass jobs, sleeping on your mama couch, coughing up what little bread you got to help her pay her bills, and trying every so often to find some sort of comfort somewhere, whether it's in a bottle or in a blunt or in some pussy. And that is my 20s. Real talk. Shit went sideways with my kid's mom real fast because the same violence that I had visited upon me, I started visiting upon her. No good. Don't worry, fam. Like I said, I've been through a lot of therapy. And I tried my best to make amends to my kid's mom for the shit I put her through. But I was not a good dude to her. Right? But I spent a lot of my 20s homeless, going from couch to couch, all my shit in a bag, playing hobosexual every so often. You know, I live with a chick. I'm a great cook. I know how to keep house and all that other shit. So I keep up the house when I ain't got no job, run errands for her, whatever, give her some dick. In the meanwhile, I got a place to live and some food to eat. Let's keep it all the way funky. That was my 20s. But my 30s, shit started turning around. I started changing my mentality on some things. First of all, I started getting a lot of motherfucking therapy. And I mean a lot. I've been to anger management courses. I've been to psychiatrist after psychiatrist, psychologist after psychologist. I done had to get a lot of motherfucking mental health. There's my man. Shout out to the one, the only, the Grinch God. Welcome to your Sucka-Free Saturday, brother. I done had to get a shit ton of therapy, fam. And I'm not afraid to tell you that some of that also involved medication. I took Prozac for a short period of time. Shit helped me out. I was diagnosed with ADHD, so I take medication for ADHD to help with my focus and shit like that. And it helps. Family, not everything they do medicine wise is trying to fuck black folk over. If you got mental health or physical health issues, you need to get your shit checked out. But my life has gotten progressively better. I've made progressively better choices. But it would strike you as strange for me to tell you this, that in many ways, my life is truly no different at 46 than it was when I was born. I'm still poor. I'm still struggling. Up until very recently, I was still hopeful, right? I was on some kumbaya shit, thinking that it's not that America is racist. They just they just don't know enough black people. So I'm gonna get in their faces. Man, I done been to hippie gatherings, fucking with hippies. I done been to motherfucking bike rallies and motorcycle rallies. I done traveled all over this motherfucking country, sometimes with nothing more than a few changes of clothes in a damn satchel. I done slept on riverbanks and ate cans of pork and beans that I scavenged. I done eaten out of garbage cans. My life is a lot better in a lot of ways now. My life is stable. I have family who love me. I have people who respect me. I have a cause to fight for. I have a purpose for being here. But in many ways, my life is no different than it was when it started. And that right there is the truth of one brother's ADOS existence in this country. I have lived here for 46 years. And for all of the changes, my life is still essentially the same as it was the day I was born. Family, I done talked enough. I told y'all I had a surprise available for you, and I do. This is the first Sucker Free Saturday where we have available the opportunity for you, my brothers and sisters, to tell their ADOS story, to tell their real ADOS life. So for the next hour or so, I want you to give me a call. There's the number right there on the screen. Now, this is not, let me set some rules here, okay? This is not a conference number. I can only take one call at a time for now. If I can get more support, hint, hint, hit the links, right? If I can get more support and things like that, I'll be able to step up the game where I can have you call in and wait to be spoken to. But right now, it's one call at a time. So please tell your story, but you know what I'm saying? Don't try to find your mama at the bottom of the bottle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Keep it, keep it good, keep it powerful, but try as best you can to keep it short so we can let other people get in, right? Yes, that is right, black man. I told you, I promised you, I would set it up. I want to give it a shot. I want my people to be able to speak to us. Cassius, god damn, there's a face I haven't seen in a minute. Welcome to your Sucker-Free Saturday. So, family, there's the number. First come, first serve. If you got a story you want to tell about your ADOS life in this motherfucker, if you want to talk about the reality of your existence as an ADOS person, if you got some shit you need to get off your chest about what it means to be you here, here's the opportunity for you to do it. All right, I got a call coming in from 678. Hey, it's your man Mark Black, 678. Give me your name, where you calling from, and start running it.
Man, what the fuck's going on? It's the motherfucking ink slipper, Goldberg drag killer, the motherfucking Grinch.
That's my man right
Checking
there.
in with
Shout out
Mark
to the
Black.
Grinch guy. Grinch, you a
What's
damn
going
fool. You is a damn fool. I love you though, brother. Welcome, hey man. I know you got a lot to say, man. So go ahead and hit us with what you want to talk about, bruh.
Well, I just wanted to hit on, you know what I'm saying, what you was talking about earlier, which was, basically how you could, basically the illusion of the American dream, right?
Yeah.
And, I'm releasing this book called The Ratchet's Rouge, right? It comes out in a couple weeks. And in the book, I discuss the characters that are kind of made out of the, I guess out of the void where people place that American dream. So, there's this illusion where you work hard, this is America, it's capitalism. You climb as fast as your abilities will take you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's some bullshit. And you gave your story about what you were doing, and that's not, honestly, that's not too far removed from any that's not unrelatable to any young black man out here.
True that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's plenty of people who go through, who don't get shit popping for themselves till they 40.
Yeah.
And that's just because motherfuckers, they might have a little bit more gray in their beard or something, and they might, I guess, look less threatening.
Yeah.
But it'd be shit like that. Like, they be waiting for a nigga to get out his prime before they give a nigga any type of chance to do anything.
I feel you.
And there's this big argument going on where, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and shit, right?
Yeah.
But, you're the one who put me on to that, the Road to Zero Wealth report.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? I went to the website, I read it, and, yeah, those are some disheartening numbers.
I mean, damn, bro. I mean, like, how much truth, Grinch, do we need? By 2053, the median net wealth of ADOS people will be zero. Family,
Yep.
I do not know how to tell you how important that is to have no wealth as a people in the nation where wealth is required for every fucking thing you do is a death sentence. But we have to beg people to pay attention to the data. We have to beg people to pay attention to the reality of our existence. And it's crazy.
Yeah, no doubt. Like, I don't think people quite, I think because of the age we live in, a lot of things are, they can seem real distant, especially when, nothing is getting passed down. Houses aren't getting passed down. So you're not getting the little stories that you would get, or just the sense of heritage, or that you have roots through, that you have roots in any one particular place. And I think that kind of translates into the reality of black people as well. These things aren't the things that, young black children are coming up understanding how it used to be. And so I think because we're in the stage where we've kind of been socially pacified,
Mm-hmm.
with this fucking illusion of equality and and this unobtainable American dream,
Yes.
that I don't think niggas is understanding the situation they're in. Because when you say the shit, or I might tell somebody about this, we have some, it's some passion in our voice behind this shit. Like, nigga, do you not hear this shit? Like, we
Right.
finna be alive when this go down. You feel me?
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's not, I understand how our people work, and, we're too preoccupied with really shit that's of way lesser importance, you know, than this shit that we really should be focusing on, which is the the betterment and the future of our tribe.
Exactly. I mean, look, at the end of the day, we all will die, right? Our immortality is only going to be assured through what legacy we leave behind, not just for our individual families, but for our people in general, right? And one of the things I do have to say that I'm glad about as I've gotten older is that I am more now thinking of legacy, right? That I have no time to waste. Even when I'm not feeling my best or feeling 100, I still want to do work because I understand that my time here will come to an end at some point. And I need to make sure that what I leave behind is better than what it was for me when I got here. Don't you agree, brother?
No facts. No, straight facts. That's the goal for every generation, is to make sure that the next generation has a leg up, or the knowledge that they need to succeed. You know what I'm saying? That's just natural. I just think
Absolutely.
we've gotten away from those kind of principles, and it's easy to get caught up in the bullshit, caught up in, in the winds and gusts of life when you don't have roots anywhere. And,
Hmm.
I think part of this reason why the ADOS thing is such a big deal is because it's given us, it's a title that we gave ourselves. And
Right.
then on top of that, it's something that gives us roots to a particular, because African American has, you know, it was just a term just placed on us, despite the fact that, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
they just looked at the skin and was like Africa, you feel me? But
Right.
that doesn't, Africans don't even look at us like that. So I think now that we have a terminology, something that gives us roots to an actual location, you know what I'm saying, gives us a flag to rally under, or
Hmm.
a rally behind. You know what I'm saying? This is major moves. This is the beginning of organization, and organization is the beginning of
Absolutely.
growth.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more, brother. I couldn't agree more. Grinch, I'm gonna go ahead, man, and make room for another person, man. But as always, I love you, brother. Thank you so much for your erudition and your wisdom that you bring to every topic, man. You know now that I've got the number, so please make sure to come back and holler at the folk anytime, bro. We appreciate you.
All right, for sure, man. This the motherfucking Grinch, man. Salute to Mark Black. You understand? It's ADOS or die in this motherfucker. I'm out.
Bye, Grinch.
Family, you heard it. That was your man, the Grinch. I want to address some of the comments here in the chat. Show Enough asked, is it inevitable or a setup regarding ADOS wealth? So, Show Enough, according to the report that Grinch referred to, even if nothing changes, meaning they don't do any more to us than what has already been done, 2053 approaches, which means that unless we take this moment, this transformational moment, and we make it do what it do, our people have literally an iceberg's chance in hell of making it. And that's just facts. I read a report recently that said that when this next generation of white Americans die, they will be passing on approximately $68 trillion in wealth to the next generation. Family, that's not us. We still have fools out here running that. Well, you got $1.3 trillion a year that you could be building businesses and shit with. We still got fools out here on the same debunked bullshit numbers that people have been talking about. Okay, explain this to me, those of you out there who are the hardcore black capitalists who believe we have this magical $1.3 trillion, all right, that we just somehow are just fucking off, that we're not really doing anything with. Explain this to me. I've been hearing this number for at least 15 years. How is it in 15 years that $1.3 trillion hasn't turned into, say, 3.7 trillion? Or 4.1 trillion. How is it you niggas is still talking about the same $1.3 trillion? If we just undercover low key balling. You feel me? Family, we gotta think. We gotta think about this shit. Because of that little inner aspirational devil, I truly believe that little devil in us that poses as hope needs to be murdered. Black folk need an exorcism. We have a demon that brings us hope, but it is a false hope. It is a paradoxical hope. It is a paradoxical ebullience that is not supported in any way by the facts. That demon of hope, that demon of aspiration in us needs to be exorcised. And it is the only way you exorcise that demon is by telling the truth. And that's just true, real, hard facts. Thank you, Code. No one judges ethnic groups' wealth by spending ability. So let me get this straight. We got 1.3, if you take these niggas serious, $1.3 trillion in spending power. Meanwhile, everybody else is talking about how many trillions of dollars they have in actual production power, being able to produce or to hold on to accumulate wealth with. They want us to be focused on how much we can buy, but everybody else is focused on how much they can pass on. You want to talk about a mind fuck. Thank you, Code. We need the Holy Ghost of logic. We need to be slain in the spirit of reason. Because it is patently unreasonable, ADOS family, for you to continue to hold on to these myths that do not serve you in any good stead. It only goes to mask the reality of who and what you are here in America. That's just facts. And I'm with you, August. I don't want to hear any more about, I don't give a fuck about hope. I don't care about hope. I want change. Specifically, I want checks. Cut the goddamn check. Thank you, Sonny. Welcome to the Angry Black Sheep. We are glad to have you. Kevin, 1.3 trillion in spending power that we send to other communities. Do you have any idea of why we send that money to these other ethnic groups or these other communities, as you say? Because every capability that we have had to produce for ourselves has been systematically either denied us or destroyed or defrauded from us. It is not as if black people don't understand how the game goes. We know what capitalism means in America. We're not idiots, right? But if every opportunity you have to accumulate anything is either stolen from you, like right now in our neighborhoods, from Philly to Ferguson, you have entire police jurisdictions using ticketing, civil forfeiture to siphon off wealth from us on a constant daily basis to fund the same apparatus that they use to then abuse us and murder us extrajudicially in the streets. But we're supposed to spend our way out of that? No, we have to do politics. We have to do politics in a way we ain't ever done it before to stop shit like that. What good is it if we were to, okay, so let's say that we did have this $1.3 trillion in spending power that we were somehow able to husband and utilize for ourselves. Well, what does that mean if they can just simply target our communities similar to what they did in June of 1921 and burn down 35 square blocks of black capital? If they can simply defraud us out of it using the so-called legal system. Oh, got another call. Here we go. 903. Caller from 903. What's your name? Where you calling from? And what you want to talk about?
Mark Black, what it do?
What it do? Who this?
Black Man 903.
My man, what it do, Black Man 903? Holler at us. Tell us about that ADOS life, brother. We've been chopping it up. I want to hear what you got to say.
Yeah. I'm going to tell y'all right now, I didn't have y'all life. I did not, was nothing close to that, right?
Right.
I was born in California. I left California when I was 15 to move to Texas, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I want to sit there and say, I understand your story because I still have cousins who stayed back,
yeah.
who were killed, who were murdered through that same potential of gain, right?
Yeah.
But my thing is different in terms of this. I'm a fifth generation of a descendant of a slave, but we still have our original land in our family, right?
That's what's up, man. Good on you.
It is, but this is the thing that a lot of people don't understand now. Now that you have that, now it's a thing of trying to tax you out of it.
Yes.
So, right, in terms they try to make the taxes so high that you can't afford it.
Absolutely. I know a brother right now in Baltimore, a brother named Khalil, dude I've been, really connected with for quite some time, who owned riverfront property. Because a developer wanted his riverfront property, he was actually able to go and lobby the motherfucking city council to fuck my man out of his property. And he paid good money for that property.
Listen.
But nobody wants to do politics, though.
Right. If we have 75 acres, we have 75 acres right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So out of that 75 acres, if I own that by myself, don't you think they would much rather have 75 people or individual homes out there or even a half-acre home sets opposed to just having one homeowner or one person who owns 75 acres?
Black man, let me tell you, up here in Washington State, if you have a house sitting on an eighth of an acre, you balling out of control. The housing situation is so ridiculous up here that you have houses literally where you can reach out your kitchen window and touch your neighbor's house. And these
but that's
houses
what they're doing.
Going for $500,000, $600,000, $700,000.
Right, but those people who sell those $700,000 homes are coming to Texas and coming down here and fooling with us because we had a guy from California sell his house for $800,000, come to our small town and buy a lot for like $9,000, and a lot normally goes for like anywhere from $12,000 to $3,000, depending on if you have water on it or not.
Right.
But he overpaid for his property, and then everybody else's property taxes goes up after that. And initially, when we moved there, we didn't even have that many people. We were all originals. Like you had lineage there.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have people from California, like you said, Washington, New York City, just coming out of the woodwork because they can't afford their original state.
Absolutely.
So
you know what though?
Southern states.
Let me ask you a question, Black man, if I may. Right, kind of going back to because this is dope. And we definitely need to have a broadcast about this, right? But I wanted to ask you something. As a brother that did not have to go through any of the shit that maybe I went through, right?
Right.
Can you tell me what your life was like, right? Because, like I said, a lot of issues that we as ADOS face cut across social economic strata, cut across geographical locale, and so on and so forth.
Right.
Share with us, if you feel comfortable, brother, I would love it if you would share with us a bit of your reality, a bit of your experience as an ADOS man in this country.
Well, my thing was that, when I grew up is in the 70s. I was born in 1970. My mother left my father when I was really young. I never see my mother and father kiss. I never see them, love each other or nothing like that.
Not uncommon.
But subsequently, I left with right. But subsequently, I left with my mother. We moved to Fremont, California, and at that time, Fremont was just like desert plain. It was like nothing there.
Yeah.
So we were some of the first people to be there, and in turn, going to school there, it was all white. And also, my mother being single and working night shift at Safeway and the whole nine, and being subsequently an alcoholic as well, she whipped me a lot. She beat me a lot. I remember sleeping on my toy box because I was tired from school, and she was whipping me because I didn't do my homework, because I wasn't doing my homework at the time. Well, the night before, y'all kept me up till like 10, 11 o'clock washing dishes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
I've been there.
That kind of aspect in there. Yeah, you know what I'm sitting there saying? So I don't hate my mother. My mother was just young and didn't know and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
My father, on the other hand, he was like you were sitting there saying about hanging out with the hippies and doing all that, riding with bikers and all that kind of stuff, and, talking to Hell's Angels members and all that kind of weird stuff.
Yeah.
He was on that level doing coke and all that. But at the same time, he still had that country background of Texas. So when he was finally done with that life, when I was 15, done with the life in California.
Right. When
I was 15, he said he moved to Texas. I was ready to go. I was done with California probably by the time I was probably 11 or 12. In terms of, didn't see a future there.
I hear you.
Didn't like anything there. Wasn't enjoying myself. So once I moved to Texas, that's when I found FFA, learning how to weld, going on and doing sports and the whole nine. That's when I learned about guns and the Southern way of life. Not in Southern way of life, but Southern pride, make America great again, but Southern pride of how you treat women. Southern pride of, your history of being black in America, your history of being ADOS in America. We didn't know back then, but knowing that my ancestor has slept with this white woman that we believe, we can't prove it or disprove it, in order to get this property that we have to this day. And having some of it even stolen from me even back in the day, because it burned the courthouse down to prove that he didn't even own it.
Hold on a second, black man. I got another call coming in. I'm going to let you finish, but I want to let everybody know I can take one call at a time. So caller from 301, when I hang up this call, you call in next and I will take your call. Go ahead, brother.
All right. So then after that, after I lived there and joined the military, just like you, I joined the military. And when I got out the military, I needed a start. So joining the military was my start. And in turn, I worked at a few jobs or whatever. And I told you this before. I became disabled from going to the Gulf War. And when I became disabled, I didn't have to work, but that's how everything happened for the kids that got colleges and everything. But even before that, I was already investing in the stock market. I have shares, not a lot of shares, don't mind you, but I still have shares of Apple, Ford, Hell American Paint, which is an oil company. I own Facebook and something else I just can't remember right now.
Yeah.
But I tried that white way of life. It hasn't always worked, but I still own my home. I own 5 acres. I have a 4-bedroom home, brick home on 5 acres in Texas, in East Texas. And when I first bought this house 17 years ago, or 20 years ago, was it 20 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
This house was only less than $100,000 with 5 acres, 4-bedroom, brick house, 2-car garage, and the whole nine. So my move was good in terms of coming here. But, now it's all sucking because I'm about to get a divorce after 25 years,
Yeah, I heard you talking about that.
But that's pretty much, basically it. And, that's it. I just live my life daily. Like I say, I fool my guns. I got my little silencers and suppressors and stuff, and I just do my thing on a daily. And just, I got my mental health appointment on I think it's Tuesday or Wednesday of next week.
Right on, brother.
I still go through my stuff as well.
Yeah.
But I don't want anybody to think for a second that just because I didn't have what you have, I still understand what you had to go through.
You know what?
I
understand you too, brother. See, that's the thing, family. As ADOS, right? Isn't it funny? No matter where we go in this country, no matter what we do, no matter who we interact with, every single time we run across one of us, we know. It's an instant
Oh yeah,
feeling.
yeah.
You could go anywhere. Look, I feel comfortable around black folk anywhere I go in this country. It
Right.
don't matter one bit. I can go into the most rich neighborhood of black folk, and I can go into the most your gutter hood area you could possibly imagine. And right off the bat, I know I'm at home with my people. You see what I'm saying? And that's
And see,
something.
and,
Go ahead, brother.
and this is what I always sit there and say. My kids always will call me, especially when they're younger. Daddy, you're racist. They were like, I was like, why y'all say that? Because you will only talk to black folks. Well, that's not being racist. That's just keeping with my own. And in turn, I will, in a heartbeat, hey, young blood, hey, brother, how you doing today? And whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's wrong to do that whatsoever.
I don't either.
And I remember James Brown always sitting there saying, I'm black and I'm proud.
Yep.
That's the only time since being an ADOS, because I've never been down with the African American stuff. I never have liked it. That was the only other time that I can sit there and say I have a sense of who I am.
Yes.
Through ADOS, other than James Brown saying I'm black and I'm proud.
I
That's
feel
the
you.
only other time. And hey, Theo, when I let you get on the phone, brother, I'll talk to y'all later, Mark.
All right, bro. Thank you so much for calling in, man. You are always welcome. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, caller from 301. If you want to go ahead and call back in now, I would love to have you.
Dave.
Is that Dave? Oh, Made and Dade. Dade, is that you? Go ahead and call back in now. I'll take your call now. Family, I see going back and forth in the chat, and I'm going to tell you, I don't have no animus towards Kevin, right? Because I understand where Kevin's at. You see what I'm saying? I really do. I would just argue that, Kevin, you need to ground yourself a little bit stronger in the data. It's not that we playing victims, bruh. We are not the damn victims. We the motherfucking reason why this country is what it is. We are just simply demanding what is our due. And we will fight for what is our due. And brother, I would hope that you continue to support any effort for the betterment of our people. All right. Tizaba, welcome to your Sucka-Free Saturday. The numbers in the lower right hand. Wait, there we go. Lower right hand corner there under the chat window on the screen. 425-296-1980. Again, the topic is you telling your real ADOS story. Tell your life. This is your opportunity for you to start grounding yourself in the truth of reality of your existence as ADOS in this country. There we go. Caller from 301. It's your man Mark Black. Give me your name, your location, and hit us with what you want to talk about.
What's up, Mark Black? What's going on, baby? How y'all doing, man?
Oh,
Ava
I
Black
know
Sheep
who that
family.
is.
What's going on?
That's my man Black Dollars. Peace to you, brother. Hey, you've
Yes,
been
sir.
putting out some fire content lately, man. Go ahead and type something in the chat so people can get an opportunity to click through your name in the chat and go and subscribe to your channel, man, because they definitely... And brother, you put me to shame because you dress so damn sharp. I mean, good Lord.
Oh, man, I appreciate it, man. Mark, man, I appreciate you, man. When I first tuned into your channel, man, you were talking about some things, and I was just getting started with my ADOS life, man, and understanding what ADOS is. And I said, man, I've been ADOS my whole life. I said, this cat right here, he's sharp, man. I mean, I don't have the words that you have, how you express yourself, but I express myself, the way God tells me to,
Oh,
man.
no,
So,
brother. That's
and
the thing I love the most about your content, brother. You express yourself with the fire in the belly that we need. It's not a matter of erudition, bruh. It's not a matter of necessarily having a certain mode of speech. It's about those of us who feel this tie, this willingness to cleave to our lineage and to our heritage and communicate that to the people. That is sorely and direly needed today. And you, brother, have it in spades. So my hat's off to you for the great work that you do. And I hope you get much more exposure than what you I'm telling you, bro, you a comer. And can't nobody root for you more than me. Because I'm telling you, bro, you be getting it in. But go ahead, brother. I don't want to take
Man,
your. I don't
thank
want
you.
to steal your thunder. Go ahead and talk to us. What you want
Oh,
to talk
nah.
about?
Well, man, I just want to let you guys know, man, that I do have. I started up the. If you guys don't know, for everybody across the ADOS diaspora, if you don't know, I did start a Sheila Jackson Lee rally event that has been granted permission by the mayor and the city of Houston, and they'll have. They're gonna have some other additional things out there for us as American descendants of slaves. But I want to encourage all of you to go to Travis J 411 on Twitter to make sure if you have any questions that you want asked or want me or any other of the ADOS that's in Houston that I've locked in with, because they don't even know who I am. And I told them I had to put my information on the page to let them know who I was, and they can call me. And that way I can make sure your voice is heard, because it's not about me. You know, the work that I do on my channel, I did it because God has put that purpose in my life to do, and I'm living my purpose.
Yes, sir.
And I've had the opportunity to talk to some Black Panthers actually got a hold of me. So now the move that I made, the purpose that God has given me, and I know, Mark Black, that you don't believe in that, and that's fine. Just
No, that's
whatever
all right,
it is
brother.
that you believe in.
Whatever drives you to do what you do, I'm with it.
Yes, sir. And the Black Panther Party has gotten behind me because they told me my message was so powerful to them. And I'm talking about the old head Panther, from Huey P. Newton to Bobby Seale.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about Al Mansour, all of them. Khalid Al Mansour, I'm talking about all of them, the Black Panther Party that's still around. And I have some of them mentoring me on different things that they didn't do that, you know, that they can give me some tidbits on. But let me tell you guys this. The fifth great awakening is ADOS. We went through a lot of great awakenings in this country. But the fifth great awakening is ADOS. And the power that we have is in your voice. It's in your vote. It's in what you do every day.
Absolutely.
When you look around every day and you see all of these different banks, these different construction companies, these houses, this land, everything that we have built in this country, starting from the White House. We had slaves living in the ground, on the ground in the basement of the White House. And they trying to tell us that they don't owe us no damn reparations. That's a lie. That is a bold-faced lie. And then when you talk to your friends, some of your friends that you may talk to on Facebook or whatever, some of your white friends that you supposedly had before you unplugged your mind or whatever, or if you were even already conscious, a lot of them have come to me talking about, you're not going to get reparations, this won't happen. And I said, they said slavery we wouldn't be free as slaves either. But what happened?
Absolutely.
If you believe in something, Mark Black, let me tell the angry black sheep this. If you believe in something, believe in your lineage, believe in your heritage, because Black Wall Street was ours. The abolitionist movement that Frederick Douglass and Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, and being here since 1619, we have done everything that this country has made us do and asked of us to do. We don't go out here killing people. We don't go out here trying to hurt anybody. But every time you turn around, there are people slandering us as ADOS about we will not give reparations. But you know what? Choose a side. You can go on the side where everybody just doing the same thing, or you can go a totally different direction and to inspire yourself to be different. Be different. You don't have to be like everybody else. And when people tell you that ADOS is trash, don't just block them, because that's what I had to learn how to do. I had a guy from ADOS, some people from ADOS to tell me that I'm spitting ready. I don't want to talk about no coffee mugs. I don't want to talk about no slogan and this symbol and that symbol. And I said, brother, you came to me. You asked me what the ADOS 300 was about. Absolutely. And I had to tell people the ADOS 300 is not a separate group. We are not a violent group. We are the angry black sheep. We are Black America. Every day, we are Black America. what we're talking about is ADOS 300 for everybody that don't know is just saying that we are warriors for Black America.
Right.
And that's all it stands for. And Black Sparta is nothing but Black America.
Facts.
That's what I utilize it for.
Facts.
And I'm not trying to steal your thunder or nothing more. But I shout out to you every day, Mark, because I want people to plug in to your information. If you don't get my information, plug into somebody else's information.
That's right.
Because I'm not about myself and just talking about what I got on this channel and that. I'm talking about everybody. If you have a platform, ADOS, use it.
Facts.
Your voice is there for you. That's your power. When Mark talks about real power to our people and prosperity, that's what we have to stand on. And I put out something, Mark, that said ultra elite tangibles.
That's
because
right.
tangibles ain't shit. Tangibles don't mean shit. We want ultra elite tangibles because my ancestors had to pick cotton. I'm from Louisiana.
Yes, sir.
My grandmother, my uncle was crippled picking cotton. So when people talk to me about being, nobody can tell you how to be Black. Nobody can tell you about reparations and slavery because you are Black. They don't have the Black experience.
Yes,
so
sir.
when people try to tell you that you should not be fighting for reparations, it's not going to happen. Damn what they say.
Facts.
Damn
facts,
what they
facts.
say.
Hey,
Because,
Black Dollars.
Because this information is powerful.
Black Dollars. I knew as soon as I had you on the line, it was going to be fire. And you, my brother, did not disappoint. I definitely appreciate you. I love you. I respect you, my esteemed brother.
Love you too, bro.
Man, anytime.
Lock me in.
Anytime, man, you are welcome. I'm going to go ahead and open it up. I think Tazaba wanted to call in, so I'm going to go ahead and let you go, bro. But I really appreciate you giving us that fire in the belly. Keep up the good work, man. Thank you so much for your support and your love, and I look forward to talking with you soon.
All right, you take care. Love you guys.
Yes,
take
sir.
care. ADOS.
ADOS all day. Family, ladies and gentlemen, Black Dollars University. You heard him live here in Living Color. The brother is on point. I think Tazaba wanted to call in. There was a couple of calls. Remember, family, I can only take one call at a time. So if I'm on a call, I'll go ahead and let you know when the call is, when the line is open, because I want to hear definitely all of your voices. So the line is open. I'm taking the next call. Y'all are getting it in the chat. Let me go ahead and let's see. Code is talking about Obama. Yep, Obama with that hope and change bullshit woke a lot of us up. By the way, shout out to Omar Sharif B. Welcome to your Sucka-Free Saturday broadcast. Glad to have you. Afro Troops in the house. Angry Black Sheep representing. Family, understand that there are those of you out there who in your weak moments feel that we are begging America, right? That we're begging America. You know what? I can hold that point. Here we go. Caller from 832. It's your man Mark Black. What's your name? Where you calling from? And talk to us.
This is Tazaba. What up, Mark?
Tazaba. Okay, hey, brother. Now I can finally pronounce the name properly because I was certain I was butchering the shit out of it. Tazaba.
I want you to still say Tazaba. I want you to still say it that way. I like that.
Okay, I got you. No, it's Tazaba. My mother always told me the best gift you can give someone is their name, Tazaba. So it's my pleasure to say your name. Welcome to your Sucka-Free Saturday. The floor is yours.
All right. Basically, I'm from Pomona, California. I grew up on the north side of Pomona. Man, all the different experiences, I have so many different stories to share. But I'm just going to talk about my cousin. He just passed away last night.
Damn, man. My condolences. My heart goes out to you and your family for your loss. Yeah. I'm really sorry, bro.
Yeah, I just wanted to give him a shout out, Charmaine, that was his name, he was a young dude. You know what I mean? He had a child and everything. And it's unfortunate the events that occurred. Um, it really bothered me this morning. Um, and ever since I heard the news, you know what I mean? It's kind of deep. But that's the ADOS life
Yeah.
that we deal with losing loved ones losing loved ones to tragic events. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And and just even the ADOS life is seeing all these different videos that go viral of events that happen to us. We're just a viral scene in America, you know.
Yeah.
We don't get the proper anything in this country, and people want to say, "Oh, you guys are victims," but literally not to toot our own horns or nothing, but we are victims. You know, living in this country, we've been victims ever since they took us from wherever we were,
Yeah.
or even if we were here already, taking away our land, taking away our freedoms, taking away whatever. Our whole existence in this country, since whoever these people are, we don't know who these people are, right? I
Right.
mean, we know certain companies or people that just change their name. You know, white folks change their name after
Like a
slavery.
motherfucker. Yup.
Yeah, exactly. So it's because all the slaves took the master's name. So it's just crazy, man.
Tasa,
All
but
the
let me
different
ask you,
things that black people.
about your cousin, man, because first of all, that kind of gives me a bit of an opportunity to give some prelims for next week's Sucker-Free Saturday broadcast. As you know, and I've mentioned it, my baby brother committed suicide 2 years ago on Memorial
Mm,
Day. And
mm,
so every year I eulogize him. And I would love for you to, um, to attend that broadcast because I will definitely make sure to lift your cousin's name up, for remembrance,
yes,
right? So
sir.
we can remember
Yes,
our
sir.
fallen. But
Yes,
tell me a
sir.
bit
Yes,
about
sir.
your cousin's life, Tazaba. Like, tell me what you know about your cousin. Let's remember him.
Okay. All right. Let's remember Charmaine in the proper way. Okay. His father was from the hood. Cause I'm from the hood. I'm from Pomona, North Side Islands, Paru, 456, some 456 for people who don't
Hmm.
understand the big language.
Oh, I
And
know
and
what
it's
you're talking
real.
about. Yep.
Yeah. So you know, we some Parus out there. We the only Bloods in Pomona. We got
Hmm.
some West Side homies. You know what I mean? But his father's a fixture in the hood. Basically, his father is like a person, a stature, a person you look up to. Big Charmaine, you feel me? Big
Yeah.
China from the hood. You know what I mean? And Big China was the man. I mean, he was riding around on 4-wheelers through the hood. Like, you understand what I mean?
Right.
Like
I
that was
definitely
his
get where
pop.
you coming from. He's the boss.
Right. And so, you know what I'm saying? That he was like a big cousin, you feel me? He had a baby with my cousin, Benita, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Benita, he was actually an only child because she was married to another homie who had got locked up for like 20 some years for a murder that they not even sure that if he committed or not. But he had four kids with my cousin prior to Charmaine being born. But Charmaine was the baby boy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was smart, he was spoiled, he was rotten, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When he became a man, you know what I mean? He was going through his learning phases, and I love the way he stepped up to the plate of everything. He had a hard life, you feel me? Because
Yeah.
his mom and his father, they didn't live together. You know, he was at this person's house. Maybe they didn't show him no love because he's a young black. You know how young black males, we don't get
Trust
that
me.
love. We
I
don't get that
know.
love from nobody show us love. But anyways, so we came to say hi to black women without an attitude. So I'm looking at you crazy. But not to talk down on my black women. So I was raised by black women, so I respect all black women to the
No,
fullest.
I
So don't
feel
ever
you,
get it
man. They
twisted.
they got some wrongs they need to address, and there's nothing wrong with
Yeah,
mentioning
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. We all do. We
We
all
all
do. At the
do.
end of the day, So at the end, but Charmaine, he ended up having a child of his own, and he stuck it to the plate because his girlfriend or woman, you know, I'm pretty sure she was kind of like still young and still wanted to be, you know what I mean? But he was being a true father, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the thing I was most proud of him for, because he stepped up to the plate. You know what I mean? To be a father. And that's
Well, you know, Taza, but we gotta step into Charmaine's place then, man, and make sure that that little one gets what she
Of course.
needs. You know,
Of
so
course, you already know.
yeah, man, I want to say I appreciate you sharing a little bit about the brother's life. Like I said, I want to make sure that we lift him up. So please make sure that you're there for the Sucka-Free Saturday broadcast next week, where we remember our fallen. And I really appreciate finally getting a chance to hear you live and in living color. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and take another one, but of course, feel free to reach out anytime, bro.
Oh yeah, for sure. I appreciate you giving me an opportunity to voice my opinion and put my voice out here. I do have a channel I do have a couple videos on my channel, but I haven't really, you know what I mean, been dedicated to that. I don't know if that's my calling truly, but
It's all right,
we'll
bro.
see how
Do
this
what you
sounds.
do what you hey,
We'll see how this
do what you
sounds.
called to do. You know what I'm saying? Do what you called to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll be on Twitter advocating. You know, I'm on Twitter. Y'all can check me out. I'm Taza.
I'm probably already following you on Twitter, so
Y'all check, y'all. You know what I mean? We over here putting in work for real.
That's
ADOS,
right.
you feel me? For life.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This is what it is. ADOS. You know what I mean? People,
ADOS
no
all
more.
day.
I mean, you
every
can still
day.
you can still call me black, but make sure you call me that American black. You know what I mean? Not that I'm trying to just choose up on being American. I'm just saying
I'm an American. I ain't ashamed to admit it. I'm American black. Thank you very much.
Exactly. And that's the problem with us. You know what I'm saying? We want trying to find an identity somewhere, going here and there. You know what I'm saying? Tap into your people, man. Let's bring it together, ADOS.
Absolutely.
Let's do it. I'm with it. You got a real soldier right here, really with it.
Yes, sir.
Well,
Thank you very much, Taza, man. And I'm with you all day, every day. I'm all day, every day. ADOS. Period. Point blank. The goddamn end.
Period. Point blank. I'm passing out papers. I'm passing out papers. I'm talking to people. I'm doing it. Hand face to face. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to talk to some of these boomers. You know what I mean? They got their head up their ass right now. I promise you, I'm talking to them. I talk to them all the time. They talk about, I'm going to vote for Bernie. I quickly get at them quickly.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm on it. Everybody be on it. I mean, we all need to be on it. No
You know
lie.
what? Our elders, man, and I say elders because the ones that still think like that aren't elders. they not displaying real wisdom. They just old. But our elders really need to get on board this train, man, because we need them.
Man. They got it good. Man. Believe me, man. They that's why they don't fight. Yeah. They got it good. You understand? I don't got nothing. They got stuff in the bank. They got.
Well, shit. I mean, Taza, but they came up during the time.
They got it.
They came up during the time, though, when there was union jobs and the government was trying to give black people jobs.
Yeah.
And in college, you could go to college for like $4,000 for a degree. I'm not talking about a year. I'm talking about for a degree and so on and so forth. They came up in a completely different time, but they still act like we live in that time, and we don't. Because, they don't understand that the rug that they was standing on has been snatched off from under Xers, Yers, millennials, and so on and so forth. You feel me? And what has replaced it, the rug was replaced by a damn decadent veil that's supported mostly by the boomers. And the only ones of us who even got a shot at this point are boomer hooked. They boomer connected. You see what I'm saying? So, bro, right. I mean, I could go on all day about this shit, but we definitely gonna do it. We're gonna do it. A broadcast talking about that, because I don't have no hate to the boomers, but they need to own up to the bullshit that they've been slapping us down with.
There ain't no hate to the boomers. I respect the boomers. I look up to them every day. We deal with it, man. You tell me it ain't no boomers you don't look up to. You know what I'm saying? You wanna be where they at when you get their age.
Exactly,
you know
but they need to make sure. They need to make sure though that they provide us with the tools, and they're not doing that. And Code
Right,
Ref
right.
also hit on something, Taz, but I'm gonna go ahead and let you go, bro. But I want to address this. So thank you
Mm-hmm.
for your call, man. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Code Ref family brought up something that is absolutely spot on that needs to be addressed. Our boomer forebears have had great opportunities, some of the best opportunities that black folk have had within the confines of the United States. Meanwhile, they have squandered much of the resources that needed to be passed on to people like myself and Xer so that I can then pass that on to the wires and the millennials. It's like they had a hold of the ball, threw it up in the air, and then just dropped the motherfucker. And this isn't shade, this is facts. All of the data suggests that unlike every other ethnic group in this country, with the generations that to come are going to be passing on trillions of dollars in wealth, boomers, black boomers aren't passing on shit. They won't give up the jobs, right? You still got black boomers out there in the workforce, jobs that you might have a chance to be doing. They won't give them up. You got black boomers. All of the so-called congressional black caucuses are all boomers. That right there should tell you something. The leadership of the Urban League, the leadership of NCOBRA, the leadership of NAACP, and all these other black organizations are all boomers. Their time has come and gone. But rather than grooming leadership to take charge based off of the circumstances under which we exist today, based in the data, and being able to grab our people's hearts and move forward with the names of some of the greatest organizations we once had, they simply held on to the reins of power, of economy, and squandered it to the point where they are going to leave us with literally nothing. And this is a damned shame. This is an absolute shame, family. So thank you, Code, for bringing that up. That's definitely going to have to be a topic for a broadcast. Family, we coming up on 2 hours. I've got time for one more call. If you want to share your ADOS story, right? If you want to start making that commitment to the truth today, to yourself and to your people, I want you to go ahead and drop us a line. The number's there on the screen, right? Wait, let me make sure I got my pointer finger right. There you go, at the right on the bottom. That's the number. Give me a call. I got time for one more. Family, like I said, next Sucka-Free Saturday is going to be our tribute Saturday, our time to memorialize, to eulogize, and to honor those that we've lost this past year. Oh, I know who this is. Miss Danny.
Hey, y'all.
Miss Denny in the house, ladies and gentlemen. I guess we were saving the best for last. Go ahead, sister. Let us know what it do.
Woo! Okay, I wanted to say something, but I didn't want to get on camera because, I'm not feeling my best. But I wanted to say that I appreciate all the eyes coming today to watch my man Mark Black do his thing. And I also want to share a little of my history, if it's okay.
Please, go right ahead.
Okay, so I am not ADOS. My parents are Panamanian immigrants, both my mother and my father. I was born in Brooklyn in 75, so I am an American citizen. But my family, well, it's a little mixed up. So my mother was 16 when she had me. She was a victim of rape. And so I was the unwanted child, basically. I lived with my grandmother for some of my life, and my grandmother spent a lot of my young life telling me that I was not Panamanian, that I was American. A lot of my other relatives told me the same thing, that I was American.
Yeah.
And as I moved away from New York and went to Texas, I really got to see what that Black life was all about. And so I got to see the hate that you see in people's eyes, and you don't know what that is about, even though all you want to do is play with them. And I had my own shit going on too. I had been sexually abused since I was basically about 7 years old. Mm-hmm. Started with my cousin and a stranger, and then it was my mother's husband. So I had my own chip on my own shoulder about life, and then to see people that you don't really know hate you because they ain't you.
Yep.
Or they hate you because they feel like you have some sort of magical power. I don't know.
Ms. Denny, let me ask you a question, if I may, sister. And I appreciate you sharing your story. I'm going to let you continue, but I just have a quick question. As the child of immigrants, right, when your family kind of delineated you as American, right, because Code asked if you spoke Spanish, and no, she does not, Code. She never learned Spanish.
I do not.
Right?
I understand, though,
yeah,
but I don't
she understands it, but she doesn't speak it. Right. As a matter of fact, I probably speak more Spanish than Miss Denny do. But but when they classified you as American, right? Was that classification something of was it a means by which to uplift you? In other words, were they complimenting you, or were they using it as a tool or a means to cut you down? Right? Because you're a dark-skinned woman, right? No shade. I'm just noting a fact, right? When they noted you as an American, right? By default, they're saying a Black American. Were they referring to that as something of a goodness, or were they classifying you as something deleterious or negative?
To my perspective, it was deleterious. It was negative. But if you ask my mother today, it was to say it would say something else. But to me, it was on some, you're different. You're not actually one of us.
Right. So they basically were putting you as a part of an out group rather than including you in.
It was divisive.
Got it.
Yes, exactly. When I look in the mirror, I don't see a Panamanian woman. When I walk through my everyday life, I don't walk through it as a woman whose ethnicity is different than yours. When I see a Black woman, and a badass Black woman on top of that. But I digress.
Go ahead, Ms. Diddy, with your bad self.
So I have, for most of my life, identified as Black. Now, I'm not a culture vulture. Don't get me wrong. But I can understand why people would see immigrants as enemies. I can also understand the immigrant side of it, but my point is today is it doesn't matter. You be proud of who the fuck you are. If you identify as Black, identify as Black. If you don't, you don't. But don't shit on ADOS because they want something for themselves. Don't shit on ADOS because you ain't them.
Yeah. Ms. Denny, why is it that you feel the need to align with us? Because you have been, like I tell people all the time, you have been a solid rock and a clear support of me personally, but also of the ADOS movement, since you first heard about the hashtag. What drives you to be this strong ally for our due?
Because I see wrong. I see the wrong that has been done to you personally and globally. I mean, I see what it is to struggle as Black women, as a Black man. I see the struggle. I see that you wake up and you feel like, God, just get me through this day. I've lived that struggle. So when I see wrong, I do my damnedest to help make it right. When you know better, you do better. And so I know better.
That's what's up.
Nobody, including my own mother, can tell me that y'all don't deserve this motherfucking check.
That's right. That's right.
So
Shit.
that is why I allow it.
Well, Miss Denny, damn it, I gotta say, I personally, like I said, appreciate your support, your alliance. You are strong, you are mighty, but most importantly, you are wise. And for those of us who now get the chance to have the exposure to the greatness that is Miss Denny, it is our gift and our blessing. So I definitely want to say thank you for your support, for your willingness to stand out there and be the might that you are, and we appreciate you.
What? Well, I thank you and I thank y'all. It is my pleasure to do whatever I can do for y'all.
Thank you, sister. We
It really is.
appreciate you.
No problem. So I'm gonna let y'all go because I gotta get back in there, and mod from a man or whatever. But it was wonderful to talk to you, Mark Black, and I'll see you later.
All right, sister. As always, a pleasure. And family, with that one, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I told you I had a surprise for you. Now you get a chance to be a part of this broadcast. No more Mark Black talking to y'all for 2 hours. All right. I'm going to say my little piece, but y'all going to participate in this shit too. We going to build Black Outcast Media together, us angry black sheep. So, family, be on the lookout for next Saturday. That's our memorial broadcast. Again, we're going to have the giveaway, the $25 giveaway, as we do at the end of every month on Sucka-Free Saturday. So make sure that you're there, right? Also, family, hit the links, right? I'm trying to put together quality information and a quality broadcast for you, but I ain't rich. If you have it to spare, I could definitely use it. Click the link to buy a shirt or a mug. I got some great mugs now that were even bigger than the ones we used to have, right? I've got books that you can purchase. Or if you just have a few spare coins to throw your brothers away, throw your brothers way, please make sure you do so. And family, until the next time I get a chance to speak with you, remember, we are not beggars. You are not ever a beggar, ever. You are a fighter who, through the power of our lineage and our heritage and our justice claim, are going to fight tooth and nail, kicking and screaming, dragging and laughing and praying until we get what is our due. No more, no less. Make them cut the check. So until next time, family, as always, I want to wish you all love, peace, prosperity, and power, real power to our people.